Welcome to the White Mountain Endurance Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Heron, and we're also joined today by Max Perozic and Haley Heinrich, who are fresh off the Kilkenny Ridge race, and they're also our newly named King and Queen of the Whites after both coming home with the victory in the White Mountain Endurance Cup. Max and Haley, great to see you this evening.
Great to see you too.
Thanks for coming on the pod. So first off, congrats. I figured we might start with last weekend's race at Kilkenny Ridge race up in Stark, New Hampshire. You guys both not only won the race, but also there was the closing race of the cup. And yeah, I'd love to just kind of go through your day out there on the trail. And I think there was some fun race dynamics at play with just the close races with the podium. But yeah, maybe for folks unfamiliar, a quick overview of the White Mountain Endurance Cup. It's brand new this year for White Mountain Endurance. It's 4 of our races. We picked some of the sub-ultra distances. So in the kind of 20 to 30K range. And starting with Jakura Mountain Race back in June, and then the Jigger Johnson 20 miler in July, Baldface Scramble 29K in August, and then wrapping up with the Kilkenny Ridge Race 25K just last weekend in September. And so, the competition was open for anyone to participate. People had to score or complete at least 3 of the 4 races. And for those looking to compete for the podium, for everyone, we awarded points based off of the percentage of the winning time, which turned out to be really exciting towards the end when, literally the, winners were decided by just a couple minutes. One of the exciting things was for the winners of the cup get invites to the Aravaipa racing team for 2025. So more exciting stuff to come in the new year. I guess Max and Haley, had you ever been on those trails before that were in Kilkenny, or were they totally new for you? Yeah.
That was my first time on any of those trails up there. Super pretty. Really, definitely felt like you were out there a lot more than at least the first few races in the series. Super wild feeling as
Yeah.
I've been on them before. I've hiked and run the 4,000 footers. So fortunately, like with all these races, I've been on them. Not all the trails that we've been on. I've started at the fish hatchery and gone the other way. So
Okay.
it definitely haven't come down that way before that I knew of, because that was a lot different, a lot more technical than I remember. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so I guess, I mean, either of you or both of you combined, like it would be fun to just go through the course in general. And yeah, from the beginning. So, we started out with some pretty quick road miles, which opened
Yeah,
up the
no
field a
kidding.
bit. Yeah. So you either
Yeah.
love it or hate it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was, I guess, right around 2 miles in, right?
Like
Until you hit
10,
the
but
trail. Like 10.
yeah, that was, I mean, the for road though, at least it was like dirt road. That's not
Yeah.
really my thing. I get really bored from that, and it just feels so fast, especially in the beginning, but I think I'd rather get it over with in the beginning. But it was really cool to see Abby in front of the boys during that. I liked that.
Totally.
I'm like, yeah, girl, get it.
I know, that was awesome. Yeah, I was riding in the back of the truck. That was pretty fun, and it
Yeah.
was cool to see. Yeah, she just made a move at one point. I was like, all
Oh
right, I
my gosh,
gotta
yes,
set the
she did.
pace.
she
Which,
did not want to wait. Yeah.
no, that caught me off guard. I was like, I'm not ready to do that today. At least
Yeah.
probably not yet. But
No, I mean, I
yeah,
appreciate like also, everyone has their different strengths, and if you're feeling good on the flatter,
yeah,
quicker stuff, may as well try to put some time in there and
for
while
sure.
you're feeling good. And I think, yeah, what I mentioned with, how going into this race, like both Haley, you and Abby and Lindsay were super close in terms of the spread of points. And so even if Abby, you know, was aiming for the win, but if she didn't win, she could have still won the cup overall. And so like, those seconds on the road did matter, which was cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Which I'm gonna be honest, I had no idea how the points worked. I just wanted to run. Like
I
these
like
are,
it.
I love these races because I love running in the white. So, but
Yeah.
either way, yeah, we had some great competition, and I don't know, Max, what did you think about the beginning?
Oh man, yeah, I honestly probably felt more at home at the beginning than maybe later in the race. I've been just not able to get to trails lately. I live in Boston, and just that month between Baldface and Kilkenny was so busy. I think I got on trails like literally one time between those two races, and so
Wow.
honestly, I kind of appreciated a little warm up. Have it going just straight up into the technical stuff sometimes just like really gets me. So I didn't mind kind of a more chill, flowy, flowy few miles, but yeah, I think also did not really figure out how the points worked. All I knew was that you gotta the gaps actually mattered, and so I didn't want to look at the time difference that I needed to get Peter for the last race, just because I knew it would get in my head. But I was just like, gotta kind of go for it, no matter what. Um, but yeah, I think a little warm up's nice in general.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
guys were chatting away. I felt like the you and Peter and Owen, I feel like it looked like you're out just for a morning stroll. It
It
was
was
funny.
lively. It was lively.
Yeah, I mean for the points, because I think if I remember the leaderboard correctly, so Max, you were in third place, I think, in the cup coming into this race, and around 10 or so points, maybe back of Peter, as well as Mike Conley, and then Haley, you had only done two of the races up until Kilkenny, so and same with Abby actually as well. So Lindsay was like, she'd done her three, she had, but then she wasn't racing, so you kind of knew the mark that you had to beat.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think it was. I don't remember the exact spread, but I think Max, like you had to not only win but also beat Peter by, I think approximately like somewhere in the 5 to 10 minute range, and then on Abby's side, um, you know, in order for her to between you and Abby Haley, I think it was like you had to win by I think around 10 minutes as well.
Oh
So if
wow.
Abby
Oh,
if
yeah, I
Abby
didn't know.
finished within 10 minutes of you, she would have won the cup overall. So we were like at the finish after you guys both had crossed, we were like, just staring into the woods, like, oh, when are they gonna come through?
I
So
totally didn't know any of that. So, wow. All right.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. No, it made it very exciting. Good drama. And then we were just like frantically trying to do math at the finish line, being like, because I think initially, we were like, oh, Peter got it. Like he finished with enough time. And then we like redid the numbers. We're like, no, it was Max.
How
So
close was it between them?
it was only 2 points.
Oh
And,
my gosh. Whoa.
that's out of, so yeah, Max, you finished with 279 points, Peter with 276 points. Um, and that's over, yeah, that's a couple percentage points over 3 races, which is really cool. And then Haley, you and Abby were only 2 points different.
I again didn't know how it worked, but that's really cool. Like maybe it's good. Maybe it's good we didn't know. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
more pressure. I'm not
No,
really
like
sure.
if she finished, like I think, if she finished like 3 minutes faster or something, she would have, had
Wow.
the
Yeah.
top. So, which she doesn't necessarily know where you were on the trail and things
Yeah.
like that, so it's a little hard. But it just gives you a good reason to push it into the finish line, and not just if you're having a bad day, not just sort
Yeah.
of let yourself I don't know, jog it in. But yeah, so all right, back to the course. You get off the road, and then from there, there's like a bit of a pretty flowy trails for a little bit, and then around like 3.5 miles is when you kind of start that first climb. Um, yeah, how are things going? Because I only saw you from 2.5 miles, and then at the finish, so I don't know what happened in between. Max, where were things at for you?
Yeah, so the trail, I guess it was kind of grassy, bog bridgy for a little while, pretty chill, and then I don't know, maybe right around mile 3, it felt like it actually started turning into real trail. Got quite a bit more technical, a little bit of kind of up down before the climb proper started, and that's generally stuff I feel pretty good on. So I was feeling kind of like going there, and so I definitely went super deep there. Partly because I knew that there was going to be sort of a speed limit on the really steep stuff, both up and down, and so figured it would be like one of the few times I could put some time into anybody, and so definitely went a little outside of what I could sustain, and suffered a little bit when the climb got steep, but that section was really fun. I just love that like kind of rolling technical stuff. Stuff that's like still runnable but hard to run on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then yeah, after that the climb kind of kicks up, and when it gets steep, it wasn't super technical, mostly just because you couldn't really like full run on it anyway. It was just sort of the power hiking. Um, and so yeah, I just kind of locked into like a yeah, plugging away at sort of a power hike pace, and tried to recover a little bit from going really deep on that rolling section. But yeah, that first climb was honestly, compared to a lot of the other races in this series, not that bad.
Yeah.
But it was definitely the hardest sustained part of the course. I think it was something like 2,000 feet in 5 miles or something like that, 6 miles maybe.
And you were pretty. At what point did you like sort of put some time or gap? Like, because when I saw you, the three of you guys, you, Peter, and Owen, were all together. At what point did that start to spread out?
Yeah, so honestly, it was it was like pretty quick after
Right
you all.
after.
Yeah, Abby was actually leading all the way through that section, and then I don't know. I think I just kind of was like, all right, I gotta get going, and so I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, just kind of ripped it. Owen went with me right away, and he stayed pretty close. Peter, I couldn't see. Kind of, I didn't do a whole lot of looking back, but Owen was within seeing distance for I don't know, probably like a quarter or third of that first climb, and yeah, I just kept plugging away. Owen's really fun to climb with, so I was actually kind of bummed he didn't catch me on the Osceolas at Jigger Johnson. We like did that whole first climb together, and we were both totally sucking wind and suffering, but chatting the whole time, and it was really fun. He's a super fun guy, and so yeah, he was kind of nearby for that first section, and then I looked at the Strava segment, and I think I put a good 5-ish minutes into both of those guys on the first climb. So I think that was actually where I made up most of the time on
Yeah.
on Peter, which I guess not that surprising because I was like bleeding out of my eyeballs for that first section.
Nice. Haley, how about yourself? Where, Abby was leading the way at 2-ish miles. How long until you were able to catch her? Was that pretty quick, or yeah, how did things unfold there?
So, okay, I'll just give you like the basic rundown because I had to do like a little write up for this too, just to remember how it worked. But I'm not even sure really exactly when. I think when the trail started to pick up from that rolling, which, oh, I was so excited for the rolling, but like fast stuff, it starts to get really techy. And like even before the major climb, I thought one of the most technical parts was the very end, not the very, very end, but like descending,
Yeah.
the start of the descent. And those, like, you're running over the river, but I was like, I'm not gonna waste my energy on these rocks, I'm just gonna hike. And I was kind of making good time, but then I see Abby go to the left a little, and I'm like, Abby, this is the trail. And I'm like, stay over here. I'm like, you shouldn't get lost. And she's like, oh, I don't even know where the trail is. But that's when I passed her. I'm glad she didn't get too far off though, because then when, yeah, that would, I've been there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she didn't. She made it back on. It is a little messy, so I can see why it's like confusing in that area. But um I'm sorry, my cat is playing with the hair elastic on the table. So then we finally get to the climb, and I'll just jump right into this. I'm gonna give a little bit too much TMI. I caught up to Peter, and I think Owen, if Owen was wearing black shorts, I'm not sure who that was. And I was like, oh crap, why am I feeling so good right behind them? And they're like, do you want to pass and we'll just draft you or something? I'm like, I don't know, but I really had to pee, like really badly. So I'm like, this is the first race this has happened to. I was like, okay, all right, I'll go in front of you. So I went up Cabot pretty quickly, but I felt really good. But I somehow managed to avoid, I don't know if it was the 25 milers or the 50 milers, and Peter and Owen from seeing me pee on the side of the trail as fast as I could and then just bolt up to the top. But I was pretty impressed with myself. But I think I might have climbed a little bit too hard, but that's like, that was the best climb, or from the series for me at least. I like slightly runnable, but I felt like I was
Yeah.
able to maintain running. But that's my strength, and I loved that part until it started to get like, it was so flowy in the middle after that. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of mine, and I think I put a good amount of distance on that. But I was so hesitant passing Peter, and again, I think it was Owen, but I'm not sure. I know Peter because I've seen him the most, and I always recognize his shorts because I'm like, oh,
Yep.
those are Johnny. I know those shorts. And also he wore them at Baldface. I watched him absolutely eat it in front of me, and just gracefully get up and keep going on, just like galloping along. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looked really painful. But I think that motivation to pee really just helped me
Yeah. Just
make a
rip
lot of
up.
distance there. But
Nice.
that was like my highlight.
That's
Uh,
awesome. I love it. Max, you saw a moose out there, right? Or was it you?
I did see a moose. Yeah, that
I
was
heard that moose. Because I was like, what was that running on the side or something up towards the summit, right?
the second,
Like
like
near,
right before the final descent. Yeah.
okay, yeah. I heard something, and I was like, is that someone crashing through the woods? I wasn't sure, but it was really loud. At least I think it could have been something else. Sorry to interrupt, but I swear
No,
I heard that.
I hope more people saw it. I also wouldn't be surprised if there were more than one up there.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
it was
true.
that very last section of the second climb wasn't so much a climb. It was sort of just like the peak of
Yeah.
the
Little
ridge
blip.
before you, yeah, before you started going all the way down. And there was one section where there was sort of like a rock face, like sort of switchbacky right before the crest there, and it was just before that section. And it was funny because I was thinking about seeing a bear. Like the whole time I was running, I was like, shit, I haven't seen anybody in a really long time. Like I had seen like the 25 and 50 milers had like all gone by, they passed, and then I was just solo for quite some time after the aid station, and I it really felt like I was kind of in the middle of nowhere. Trails definitely like it was pretty well maintained, but a little bit more wild than some of the other courses. and yeah, I kept thinking about seeing a bear and trying to remember bear protocol while I was breathing super hard. And then yeah, I heard a stick crack and thought it was. I was like, okay, Peter's here. Um, and and then kept going, like turned around. I was like, oh, maybe he's just around the corner or whatever, like somebody's catching me. And then yeah, maybe just like 10 seconds later, just saw like I don't know how to describe moose, but big old antlers, which I guess is a dude. And yeah, he was massive. I was not trying to hang around for super long. Still don't really know what to do about a moose, but I just tried to go as fast and as quietly as possible. And yeah, it was cool. He made a moose sound. I don't really know what it's
Oh,
called. Sort
that's
of like
kind of
a,
scary. That means he's like, get out of here.
yeah, I was not trying to hang around, but I did see a couple hikers right after that, and I whispered to them that there's a moose right up ahead. So
Yeah.
I hope at least they saw the moose. But definitely the highlight of that day. That was super super cool, even if it was a little spooky.
That's awesome. All I heard was sounds, but that's really cool. I've seen a bunch of moose out there just like hiking and running, not during a race or anything, but if you're gonna see moose, that's the area. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah, I'm
cool.
surprised because they had, it would have already had all the traffic from the other, or I guess from, yeah, they would have already seen the 50 milers come through
Yeah.
and stuff, and so I feel like that would have scared it off, but I guess not.
No, moose
So
don't care. They do not
yeah,
care
yeah,
at all. We're on their territory.
totally. Very cool. Um, yeah, and then I guess we're at the descent, which it sounded like a lot of people did not like the that final few miles into the. It's, I
Well,
guess, what, it was more than a few, 6 to 7 miles about
yeah, it
from
was
the
more than a
last.
few.
Yeah. And like, elevation profile, it looks like, oh, that could be, pretty quick, but I feel like it, is slow going for some folks. What was your experience with, yeah, the last section on the downhill? Either of you?
You want to go first?
Sure, sure. Um, yeah, so that last section, I'm trying to remember if this was actually on the ridge or that last descent, like fully the last section, but there was quite a few sections of trail where there was this sort of like knee-high grass that was kind of covering parts of the trail, and it was kind of a mix of dirt and rock underneath, but it was stuff that would be super runnable, but you just couldn't see where your feet were going to be a few strides ahead of you, and so that was super hard. There was also just a bunch of like super mossy rock where sometimes you'd put a foot on it and it would stick, and other times it would just kind of go away. So definitely kind of playing with friction a little bit on those descents, which I think can be really fun, and also just kind of fun to turn the brain off and just let yourself fall down the mountain. But I thought I liked it. I think it was super super hard, hard to like fully open the legs out. But yeah, I mean, I was just fighting cramping. That was the biggest thing, and it has been for pretty much every race in this series. Like by the last few descents, or last descent, yeah, my hamstrings just. I think it's from like lifting my legs up to like get over rocks while I'm descending. But yeah, the hamstrings are always trying to cramp themselves up, and so it was just kind of battling that the whole way down.
I'm sorry to hear that, but like at the same time, I'm almost relieved because me too, throughout this series, I don't know what the trick is to that, but that has been like, it's like I'm full of energy, but I cannot stop cramping. Only mine is usually my calves, but Jigger Johnson, my hamstrings and calves were awful. And I was like, what is this? But that's during the descent, or maybe more like the middle, the aid station up there. I think that's where Peter and I ran into each other again, and we were just going back and forth, and he's like, we kept each other company because he's like, I can tell you can't lift your legs and I can't really either. And I'm like, yeah, no, I can't. So seeing him like bound through stuff and like just trading on and off, usually I would like, I think I was catching him a little more on the uphill and he was catching me on the downhill. And he really just kind of helped me push through it because I was really struggling. And I'm like the techie queen. I love that stuff. But I don't know if it was because it was the last one in the series, or I'm like, crap, I have a wedding to go to. I need to run faster. Like that was pretty rough. I think my legs just got tired. So I thought I was moving a lot slower than I think I actually was. But I was like, if I try to run faster, I'm going to cramp and I'm going to start walking. And I don't know, it's not going to be pretty, but you'd get like these break of sections where it was like no rocks. And so fortunately for me, I'm nice and short. So even though it's really grassy, I'm still closer to the ground. So I think I can get away with it a little bit more than some people. But it was just frustrating because I'm like, I'll start to go faster. And then I'm like, nope, that's not going to happen. Like, and then the trail part I definitely have never been on with all those broken bridges through the swampy area.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I'm not even gonna. I mean, Peter, I'm pretty sure he ran the whole thing, and I was walking it, and still like he was in eyesight because it was like, is this even worth it? I think that's like the best challenge of this race is to see like some people will run some of it, and maybe that makes sense to them, or for them. But I'm like, I think that I'm just gonna not and just see if I
Yeah.
can save a little bit of energy, or maybe he was walking. I don't know. His strides are a lot different than mine. He's about 10 feet taller than I am, so um, most people are. But it was really fun, and then he completely lost me that last like flat section, and that's the thing too is even when the descent kind of flattened out, it's like it was so frustratingly technical because you still couldn't just like cruise through it. I don't know, but I also loved it. Like I hated it and I loved it at the same time because I from all these races you get a little bit of everything. So if something isn't your strength, or your weakness is in there, so your strength will be in there too, which is pretty awesome. So but it was a nice battle towards the end, and I was like, oh, I recognize that pond. I got to be somewhat close. And hearing you guys yell, I was like, oh, I'll pick it up a little bit. And then at the very end, you're cruising, and then there's mud. And
Yep.
it's like, oh, whatever. I'm not even going to avoid this. I'm just going to go straight through it. So we all came out, most of us, like just covered in mud at the end. I'm pretty sure it was spotless until that end part, too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I appreciate that both of you went for a dip afterwards at
Oh, yeah.
South Pond. It is a nice. It was. We had such a gorgeous day, like weather-wise. Really
It was
lucked out.
humid, though. It was way more humid
Yeah,
than
it
I
was
expected.
humid for sure. Yeah, but could have been a lot wetter, or just
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it,
Yeah.
it worked out well for, especially for like the ultra, for the 50-mile runners. I think they benefited a lot from having a pretty calm day, and overnight as well. There's even a few of them that went swimming like in the middle of the night or
Oh, my
whatever when
God.
they finished, which
So
was
I went
awesome.
swimming longer than I expected because I don't think Max or Peter or Owen realized this, but when I was over there, I started to cramp up. So I was trying to reach for my backpack, but I didn't want to yell over to you guys and embarrass myself. So I was like, this is so embarrassing, but I can't reach this without cramping. So I'm like, I'm just going to stand here and I'm not going to cry. Like, sorry, I'm turning so red, but it was so stupid. After I'm like, I should have just said something. Someone would have helped me. I was just being too tough, but like,
Yeah.
I was really struggling.
That's funny. I
But
had
once I got in there, I know. I was like, please don't notice me. Please don't notice how awkward I'm being right now. But you guys did it, and I'm glad. So if you're wondering why I was being a weirdo, half standing there, like bent over, it's because I couldn't move.
We're
Um,
stuck. That's great.
so yeah, but it was beautiful. I'll remember that for next year. I had to make a 2-hour drive to maybe a little bit over, and it was really nice to be able to jump in that right before. So it was very nice.
Yeah, one of the uh, crew members brought their kayaks, which was awesome. So a couple
That's a good
people tooled
idea.
around in the kayaks, and yeah, Noah actually was he took like a good like hour long kayak tour around the the pond there.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, in the afternoon we had a a little lull in finishers, and so he just went out and I thought he like fell asleep out there. I was like, good for you, Noah. But well, yeah, thank you for taking us through the race.
Yeah.
It was yeah, like I was saying, super exciting. Just the dynamics with the points and just how close the spread was there. And yeah, I guess just to for folks listening, our podium was Max in first with 2 hours 43 minutes. Peter finished about 10 minutes back in 2:53. Haley, third overall in 2:54, and then my buddy Dylan actually from Bar Harbor in 3:02 was our fourth overall and third male. Abby took home second in 3:07. And then Amy from Pennsylvania, she ran 3:37 for third. So yeah, it was awesome to see both Dylan and Amy, who are totally new to the series, come in and run strong races.
I
And
did an interview with I did she has a podcast too, and I got to talk to her, and she she was telling me that was like her first, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, you shouldn't have run that fast for your first. Like that is
yeah,
really impressive because that was rugged. She's super nice, but I just wanted to shout out to
just give a
Amy.
shout out. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she said her longest, like that was her longest race too, right? I
Yeah,
think
yeah, that's incredible.
that's awesome. Yeah, hopefully she'll make her way back out for next year.
I'm
Um,
trying to talk her into bald face because she's super into she likes the techie scrambles, and I'm like,
okay,
you need to do bald face then.
yeah.
Sorry that all of my animals are joining this. I
No, this is
I really
great.
want to be part of
The
it.
more the merrier.
I guess so.
Um, Sweet. Well, I guess yeah, it'd be fun to like just talk about the cup overall. And I know Max, you started the season in June with Chikura, and then did you do all four,
I did all of
or
them. Yeah.
you did all of them? That's what I thought. Okay. And yeah, what was cool is you like improved every single time, which I think says something. I mean, you were 11th for the first one, third at Jigger, third at Baldface, and first for Kilkenny. So making your way up the ladder, which was pretty awesome. And then Haley, you did all of them but the first one, so you weren't at
Yeah.
Chikura, but yeah, you did the final three. Have you ever done Chikura mountain race or no?
Yeah. Yes. I've done it. They've changed the course was changed a few times, so I don't even know. I think I might have done the latest one. I had
Okay.
one of the worst races of my life. I was throwing up, coming down, like I should have taken more water. I a lot of lessons learned. I had to go to a wedding that day too. I
That's
don't
it.
know what it is, but
You're a popular
I
guest, I
I
guess.
guess so, but I do love the course. I Sunapee Scramble was the same day, and
Oh
that's my
yeah,
home turf backyard. So
totally.
it's a tough one because I do love it out there, but it's like I'm gonna do Sunapee Scramble.
That's
But
fair.
maybe
That's
next
fair.
year.
Yeah, this net or 2025, we're aiming for different weekends for those
Yeah,
two. So,
that would be great.
yeah, you'll be able to double up.
That's
um,
fine. I love it. I miss
but
it.
yeah, what did people, what do you guys think of like how all the races compared? I know we were saying like there's a lot of variety, which is fun. And like you were mentioning, Haley like suits a lot of people's different strengths, and yeah, even the series as a whole, but each race as well. Like you got a mix of everything, sort of. Did either of you have favorites of the bunch?
Yes.
Let me
Well,
guess, bald face.
I know, shocker. Yeah. I love it because I I just first of all the views are great for everything, but that is like you can't get a lot of races like that. I don't
Yeah,
think that
Although it was pretty socked in or were you able to get a bit
There,
of a
we
view?
still got like these views over the clouds a little bit. Like
Okay.
in the beginning, the second time up, I didn't see anything, but it's just like it's so technical and gnarly, and you can't fake anything. Like, not that you can fake anything on any of them, but it's like this is it's testing everything, and I love that. And I say this a lot, but it keeps my ADHD really stimulated. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, like give me all of
Just
this. I
crawling
don't
up
know.
the rock.
And I love that. I love a race that I have to use my hands and my arms and just really get in there. And I don't know, you don't find a lot of races like that. So it was pretty cool. That was my favorite, but
Yeah, I'm hoping it draws, a lot of new faces next year, with it being the first race this year. I think not everyone maybe knew what they were getting into or knew
oh, for sure.
about even those trails. So,
Yeah.
and we only had like a few photos of like the course to like, promote and stuff. And so now we've got like, yeah, like the people just up the vertical
Yeah.
slab scrambling. So, shout out to Ron with our photographer with some epic photos from that
Seriously,
one.
because that's a tough one. Props to photographers in general, because some of that I'm like, wow. And props to you guys running with the camera. Like sometimes you make me feel so slow. I'm like, seriously, I'm running as hard as I can right now, and you're just there the whole time
Pretty
carrying
short
this
burst,
big.
short burst.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Ethan might have done more mileage at Baldface. I think that one at least, but
Cody definitely did
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
Cody
Yeah.
too. Cody always just appears out of the trees. Like I'm just like, where did you come from? He's really good. He's just hanging out in the woods.
They're
He
always
brings a massive pack too, which is
Yeah,
I'm like
very impressive.
impressive. Yeah.
they're always right at the crest of the climbs, and I'm so smoked by the time I get there,
Right.
and I'm just hiking, and like they make me like they force me to run, gun to my head. Like,
Same.
I can't hike for the camera.
I fell right after Cody disappeared back into the woods, and I was like, oh, thank you. I'm glad that didn't happen during.
I made some good footage.
Yeah.
We need more falls. We want everyone to be safe,
No,
but
please
need
don't.
some epic falls.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know about you, Max. I don't know if you remember this, but I think the second climb up, there's like this mossy little slope and then this bridge that you don't see right away. And so many people told me they just ate it on that bridge. I, I, that thing came out of nowhere, but
This was at Kilkenny or
bald
oh,
face.
at Baldface. Oh, I don't
There,
remember that, but yeah, the second climb, I was brain turned off for that.
okay, yeah.
I had quite a bit of stomach issues for Baldface, and so the whole race was just like suffering, fighting.
That is a really tough one to have stomach issues on that.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
I was really ambitious with my fueling, and I think I ended up sort of accidentally having somewhere in the neighborhood of like 110 grams of carbs in the first hour, and I yeah it didn't sit too well. I yeah, that was dumb, but also good learning experience, testing the limits of what the gut can handle. Been trying to push that quite a bit,
I'm
and yeah,
sorry.
held on. That was the only race where I like fully fell. I've had a lot of like close calls, but the very end of Baldface, that second river crossing, so the river that we crossed twice. The first time
Yeah.
through, I actually had this like beautiful line that I just sort of found and like was super smooth with it. And then the second time, I was like, oh yeah, I had this super great line. I'm just gonna do it again. Like fully just like fell into the water. It was awful.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a gentle fall, all things considered. But yeah, bald
I
fit.
didn't. Yeah, I did the same thing as you, but that's because I turned around. I kept tripping, and I was like, oh, I should have eaten more, and I was starting to cramp. And then I saw Caitlin, and I was like, oh shit. And so that line that I had before was straight through the water that time, and I just like sent it as hard as I could. I did not know I had that, but I didn't know she was right there, and I was just like glad that I just saw her because she would have easily caught me there. But all
Yeah, you
thanks.
guys, what was it? It was
That was
looking at
close.
nine sec. or 11 seconds. Yeah, super
Oh,
close.
that was
I think
fun. We
crazy.
the only reason I remember the second climb is like I didn't know how close she was to me in the beginning and or at the halfway point, and my GPX was not showing the correct route for some reason when we went back into the woods. And so I was like, Caitlin, do you have it? And so we ran together. We talked for so long, and then all of a sudden Abby's there too, and I'm like, oh, I have all three women here right now. I'm gonna make a move real quick. So the second climb, I was like, yeah, I gotta just go for it. And I went for it and barely held on after that. So, but that was fun. We had a nice chat.
Nice. No, I love like with the series and with yeah, just how there's a lot of camaraderie between all you
Yeah,
guys, and I think it's fun when you share multiple races in a row and you've all suffered together, but I felt
yeah.
like it was a good group of people, participating where yeah, there was a lot of you know good bonding out there, and just
Oh, for
after the
sure.
race fun to like share your war stories from the day and
Yeah.
stuff, so I appreciated seeing that aspect of it.
I think though it's not even just us as runners though, but you guys too. Like built such a happy, friendly community. Like everyone is so nice. Marilyn, shout out to her. She is such a sweetheart. Just everyone that I've talked to, and I'm really bad with names, but um, all the volunteers, all the people. Like I know that trail running brings like a great crowd, but this is gonna sound cheesy, but it was very like family like. Everyone really is just like, all right, let's go suffer together. Like, and all the volunteers are always so friendly and happy, and like we can see you guys are working your butts off too, and everyone's in such a good mood. Shout out to them letting me use the Wi-Fi so I can get home with a GPS. So like everyone's so kind and they just went above and beyond, and um, I don't know. It's such a great community, and there's, sometimes you get the occasional like not as great people, but that was like, I kept coming back for more. I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
already know this. Like, I missed. I'm not that bummed about it because it was a ceremony and a very long wedding ceremony. But I made it to the after party. We're all good, but to race, and I told you like I can't do Kilkenny, like I really can't. But even my family was like, no, go do it. You've been having so much fun. Just go do it. We want you to do it, and it was just so nice. So sorry, I'm jumping way forward, but I don't
No,
know.
no.
It's such a cool community. I feel like I made a lot of really good friends, and I hope to see more people on the trails, and like hopefully they want to go for runs with me and I can pick their brains about some things. So I don't know. It's great, great time.
Yeah, yeah. I hope there's connecting outside of the races for training or stuff like that. I know. Yeah, Max, you and Owen. Does Owen live pretty close to you, or
Yeah,
is
Owen
he?
Owen lives like I don't know, maybe a 10-minute walk, 5-minute run
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
from me. Yeah, we're actually gonna go do a little trail run in Middlesex Fells on Thursday, which should be super fun.
Oh,
But
Nice.
yeah,
Love it.
no, I'll second everything that Haley said. Yeah, it is just like such an incredible community, and especially this is like my first season doing a lot of the trail racing stuff, and yeah, it's what an incredibly welcoming group of folks, and it's very clear that there's a lot of love that goes into putting on the races. Getting all these people up into hard to get spots to put on these awesome events. So super super
yeah.
cool, and all the media stuff that Ethan's doing. It's crazy how high production quality it is. It's like so incredible. Like some of the best race content I've seen, definitely for trail stuff. So that's super super cool. I hope that helps get the word out there. I'm not on social media a whole lot, but I do hope it spreads through all those channels.
Yeah, yeah. Like you said, if folks are listening to this and they haven't seen it, Ethan and Cody, our videographers, put together some awesome recap videos of each of the races in the cup. So those are on the Aravaipa YouTube channel. But yeah, I feel like they did a really good job of like highlighting, some of the storylines with the top contenders and just showing, the gnarliness of the trails. And um, yeah, it would be fun. Like, the Kilkenny, well, Baldface and Kilkenny should be coming out in the next couple of weeks, the recaps from that. But I'm gonna have to just go through and watch them all like in a row just to just get as much White Mountain content as possible. But yeah, they've been great to have out there, and I think it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Like beyond just focusing on, I don't know, the race course and things like that. Kind of getting into the minds of you guys, Max and Haley, and the other runners. Just like it was fun hearing some of the before and after of the race, like catching you before the starting line and with the pre-race nerves, and then afterwards the recap. So yeah, another shout out to them.
Absolutely. I'm trying to get I invited Ethan. I'm like, "Oh, you should come out to Sunapee." Like they not only do they like capture the message of like I don't know, like that little heartwarming message of us just like all together and how awesome it is, but they just I don't know, they actually brought some coverage to the White Mountains because I was like, I don't feel like we have a lot in this. This is really cool. And they do it in a way where I'm also not, I've been using social media a lot more, which is pretty crazy for me. Because I don't, but now like people are reaching out and I've gotten so many nice messages and just, I don't know, and invites to other races because of you guys. So thank you. But it's just
Awesome.
such, it's so good to see more attention to the whites and like hey, we might not have like the tallest mountains, but we got some really gnarly ones. So come check this out, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I think the guy who was second at Baldface, well, I know he grew up in New Hampshire, but he came all the way out from, I think, Flagstaff,
Oh, yeah, I met
Arizona.
him.
And yeah, that was awesome. And because he had seen some of the coverage around it and was like, oh, wow, this is exciting, just to see this going on in my, where I grew
Yeah.
up. And so yeah, we had a great local contingent this year, and hopefully more people traveling in for some of the races to learn what the Beast Coast is all about.
Yeah,
uh,
seriously. They got to give us a chance over here.
yeah, totally. I know people look at like I don't know the course profile or something. Oh, that doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah.
Well, once you get out there, it's a different story.
Yeah, exactly. We need a little more of that.
Max, I don't know if maybe you mentioned it, but what was your favorite race of the cup? Was it Baldface or did you
Yeah,
have
I
a
gotta
favorite
steal
one?
Haley's. It was so cool. The whole thing. I mean, that first scramble was so much fun. Um, like putting a foot on the rock and just kind of realizing right away, oh, we're not gonna have grip on this. It's spitting rain and everything's wet.
Yeah.
Just felt like a fun kind of gritty race. I loved the fact that we had at least one wet race. I thought that was just it was fun to slip around. And I don't know. That last ascent too was just so crazy. You mentioned Christopher, the guy who got second. I had like coming over the crest of that second climb at Baldface. The volunteer who was up there, I asked him how far up second place was, and he said like 20 seconds, and I was like, no way. I didn't believe him, and maybe he was just lying to me, but um, I went really deep on that last descent, just like trying to catch Chris, and he descended like crazy. Like him and the winner on that course, whose name is escaping me. Um,
Was it
went
Lyle? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that last descent was so crazy. That first drop that's like 8 feet of just like sort of like a cliff right off the that left turn down that descent. So much fun. And Haley mentioned it, the sort of break in the clouds right when we got up onto the ridge line on right after the scramble. Yeah, that course definitely my favorite. But honestly, it's pretty close with all the rest of them. Kilkenny definitely felt the most different, the most kind of runnable. It felt like really like a descending focused course, which probably played to my strengths. Um, but but also Jigger Johnson and Chikura were so much fun. Chikura, I definitely am doing next year, like 100%. I want to redeem myself. I had a pretty poor showing this year, and just such a cool mountain, such a cool course, and also the turnout for that race was crazy. I think part of it just like everybody in the same race. Um, yeah, really fun energy there, and yeah, honestly, all of them were great. Jigger Johnson, I liked more than I expected to. Honestly, I saw the course profile and I was like, 20 miles. This is way too long. But the Osceola climb and descent were just so much fun. Um,
What about Tecumseh? Did you like that descent?
that was honestly kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Like the
Oh
stairs,
my gosh. Yeah.
it was
I
just I was just suffering. I that was the only race
okay.
where I like fully bonked at the end. Peter caught me actually like maybe half a mile to go, and yeah, I was just my brain was off completely for that last descent. Just going down those stairs,
Same.
like gritting my teeth.
Yeah.
Um,
That was the most brutal for me too. I don't that one seemed like the most runnable race to me, oddly. But I don't know if it was just because we had more miles or what, but I don't know what the strategy is to that one, but I did not have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was that was
No, it does have like a lot of runnable sections, and then the climbs there though are just like really, jam packed. And the same with the
yeah.
descents, where yeah, unlike Kilkenny, where it's sort of spread out a little bit more, and yeah, I feel like at Jigger it's just really crammed the climb and descent sections, and then at the beginning and end you have this quicker stuff. But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, what you mentioned with Chikura, it was that sort of been, I guess, probably the longest of the cup races in existence. So it has a pretty big, following, I feel like. And, um, it's also just one distance. So everyone's packed into one race, 200 plus runners all in one race, whereas all the other races in the series had a couple distances offered, and so the fields were a little more spread out. But one of the goals with the cup was to kind of bring that energy and attention of Chikura to some of these other events, and yeah, just kind of continue that excitement and enthusiasm for the rest of the season. So yeah, hopefully the fields will continue to grow at the other races, and carry over the competition, because yeah, that first race was like, we had strong, I would say, definitely podium or top five at most of the races, but the first race was like pretty deep, which was cool. 10, 15 runners deep, just like really, really close and competitive, which I think is, as a competitor, I think is fun when you have, just that, more people around. You're not in like no man's land by yourself. But awesome. Yeah, I'm curious, like both of you, I think, Max from Boston and Haley, like you guys have probably very different training styles or approaches. What
Maybe.
is maybe, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Well, I'm curious. Yeah, maybe we could like dive into that a little bit. And Max, I feel like what we were mentioning, you continue to make these big improvements throughout the season, and maybe you didn't do much trail running in between, and maybe just use the stimulus from the last race to to boost you forward. But yeah, what did your like approach to this summer's season of racing look like?
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get up to New Hampshire and the Whites pretty much as I possibly can, and then whatever trails around here. So that ends up usually being Middlesex Fells or Blue Hills. Blue Hills has the Blue Hills Skyline Trail, which is honestly like one of my favorite things in the world. I love that trail so much. It's just
Yeah.
like up down for you can make it. I think like 15 miles out and back. And there's like 11 like really solid section miles of like super solid
Yeah,
trail.
it's gnarly. It's like the whites, a lot of the sections. Same with even at the fells, the skyline, trail there is shorter, and not as It's pretty like gnarly though too. That 8 mile loop. It's a stout one. It's just like so rocky and not super rooty, but definitely the rocks are plentiful though. But
For sure. Yeah.
yeah,
It's nice to have those in the sort of extended backyard, but realistically, it's a lot of running around the Charles, which is a beautiful place to run around, but not a whole lot of elevation on the on the river. So honestly, just a lot of road miles. Tried to do kind of some late season volume, mostly just because I realized that I was super not realized. I kind of knew before that I didn't really have a great base going into it, and so a lot of these races were outside of kind of my window of race distances. Definitely every single one of these was the most hours that I had raced up to that point, at least until Jigger Johnson, which was like by far the longest race I've ever done. So was trying to just kind of squeeze in some, I guess, like cramming volume in to see if I could yeah, like extend my base super late in the season. And then yeah, getting up on the trails as much as possible. I did a super fun Prezi Traverse with a buddy of mine up in the Prezis, kind of I think that was between Chikora and Jigger Johnson. That was a nice one to get in. And then before Baldface, I did a not super great FKT attempt on the Liberty Flume route. It's like
oh
9 miles.
nice.
It's super fun course. It's just up the Flume Slide Trail and down Liberty Springs, and I was definitely not very close, but it's a super fun course, and did that as sort of an all out effort, try and get some steep stuff in, a little bit of scrambling, but yeah, honestly, I just do a bunch of miles around the river and try and do a little bit of intensity, but really not as much trails as I would want to.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's I feel like many of us just like to run out our back door and go for runs as opposed to hop in a car and go to a trail. So I understand the predicament. But yeah, Haley, how about yourself? What did
Mine's a
the
little different, a little bit different.
you go on a
Um,
lot of big mountain adventures, I feel
yeah,
like.
to be honest, like if for whoever listens to this, please don't copy me because it's not a good idea. I need to be smarter. I have raced way too much. After October, and I do like a shorter race, I am going to stop for a while because I know I need to, even if my body isn't quite there telling me I need to yet. But I do. I just dove into everything this year, but I kind of did like I don't really care attitude for everything, which I don't know if that's the smartest thing, but I really was just like I was still racing and competing. I'm competitive, so I don't want to word this wrong. Like, but it was almost like I'm just gonna see how I do, and I'm just gonna try to enjoy it. No pressure. Um, but I did a bunch of the mountain series races. I don't tend to like those, but before you hopped on here, I was talking to Max, because they're shorter, faster, but they're such good training. And not my favorite. I rather like something longer and slower and in the whites, or my own backyard. But I feel like mixing those weekends with like a longer, slower techie run has been really awesome. And then every Tuesday, I almost every Tuesday, not tomorrow because Lindsay's in the Dolomites. I have my girl gang, where I go out with her and Pemmy and Kato and Andy's, and we do like a longer White Mountain run or something like that, super casual pace. And then uh, I try to do strength training. I don't like it, but it really does help, and I do that like twice a week. I do back to back. I do a fast road run Thursday, and then I do a dog slow run in the afternoon. I'm overtraining, but I'm just really enjoying it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do a lot, but I try to break it up and I try to make them more quality runs. And I've just been trying to do like at least an hour and a half a day. Because I think that I can get away with that as long as it's slower, but I take it really slow on my training runs. So
Yeah.
Again, I'm overdoing it. I know people are gonna listen to this. Like, I know I'm
No, I
very
mean you're
aware.
having fun with it.
I
Like
am.
there's
Yeah,
excitement there. I think
yeah.
it's a balance. Like if you're dreading the runs, then that's a different
I
scenario.
agree. And
But
that's how I feel too. I don't think I'm at that level, but I just, after this past weekend, did Waterville and I was like, oh, okay, I'm tired. And I'd like to,
yeah,
I won't jump to what I want to do. I know you want to talk about that in a sec. But yeah, I get out a little bit too much, but I always have rest days. Sometimes I'll have 4 rest days in a row, and I always feel my best when I do that. I'm just a little stubborn about doing that because I have a hard time sitting still. So.
yeah. Well, yeah. Let's jump to what's next. I know you've got a little bit of racing, Haley, on the horizon.
Yeah.
But yeah, share with us.
I'm so nervous about this. But I made myself do Waterville last weekend, which I could tell on the up. I was like, wow, I'm really tired. Super fun race though. It's way more technical than I expected, and that was my first year doing it. It was only 7 miles, but 3,000 feet up, and I don't know what down was, but probably similar. I only did that because I've got a race in Canada, 2 races in Canada. I don't speak French, so I can't even give details of this. I'm so sorry. Like, I think it's called do you know what it's called? I'm
I don't
really
know, but
bad.
it's the Canadian Mountain Running
Yes.
Championships.
Yeah. Super
Both
out of
the
my comfort.
vertical and then the up down race,
Yeah.
right?
Very out of my comfort zone because it is so short and I heard it is not technical at all. So
Okay.
I'm like, oh crap. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. So it'll be really interesting. I'm just gonna have fun and go for it. And we'll see how that goes. I think I might do Squam Ridge Race next weekend. That's such a good time, and it's just a fun hangout. I might need to chill a little bit though on it. Like we'll see.
Yeah.
I say that, but I'm competitive, so we'll see.
And that's like a half marathon or
I think
so
it's
distance, or a
11 or
little less.
12
Okay.
miles, but it's a nice balance of. Although I'm not a huge fan of the road, there is some good fast road in that, but also some good climbing. I think it's like 2.5K vert, maybe a little bit more. And then I might do Vulcan's Fury too, right before. I know it's so much, but that's a half marathon. It's pretty run. It's actually not
Yeah.
runnable. It is and it isn't. It's people show up to that thinking like, oh, this is gonna be super flowy trail, but it's not. It's you want to get your ankles wrecked before something. That's the one to do. So I might not do that. I'm not sure yet. I
Yeah,
need
because the following weekend would be
yeah,
the
is
Canadian
Canada.
races. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm just having such a good time, and
No,
I
no,
don't
that's
know.
good.
I don't know. Yeah,
And
I'm
there's
ready.
a good contingent, from I feel like New England going up there for the Canadian race, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Corey Dow is going to be there. Amber, I don't, fear, I don't know how to say her
Close
last name.
enough. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
she's
either.
super fast. Both of them are really fast. One of the girls, I think this might be how we got connected, but I'm not positive. One of the women, I think she came in fourth at Baldface. Sarah,
Okay.
I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name because it's French and I will butcher it, but super strong runner. I believe she's friends with the race
Oh
director.
yeah, Sarah Bergeron or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I guess it's that easy to say. I don't know. But I don't know if she maybe said I don't really know, but I know she knows the RD for the Canada race, and I'm excited for that. And I believe I raced with her way back at Moose Lamu, and I think we all got lost, but I can't really remember. But yeah, so there's that, and then there's one more maybe I believe it's like a lap race in Lyndonville, Vermont that you can do as many laps as you want, and I might do a 50K, very chill. And then I'm done. Then a break.
Nice.
Swear to God.
Have you raced 50K before? Probably that ragged 50K
Yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah.
I
Okay.
I'm working on some stomach stuff
Oh
because
yeah.
that's my hardest thing, and no longer have like a gallbladder or appendix. So I don't know if that's part of it, but man, or it's just the game of running a 50K. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I cannot figure out the nutrition. So if anyone wants to give me some tips, please let me know. But
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's always and then you think you have it figured out, and then the next
exactly.
race
Yeah.
things are haywire.
It changes
But
every time. So I don't know. But it'll be a super chill one. I just go out there because it's the Lindenville or um, uh, the Vermont community in general, their races are really fun. I feel like they don't get a lot of notice too. Maybe they do, some of them do, but I don't know. Those are fun too.
nice. Well, sounds like a busy schedule.
I know. I
But
say I'm gonna do them, but we'll see. I'm just
yeah,
gonna.
yeah. Well, we'll be following along, and
And you always send
yeah.
me links to things though, which I really do appreciate. But 9 times out of 10, keep doing it. I'm gonna say yes. So send them
Well,
along.
I'll give you a break for the next
I mean,
few
you don't
months.
have to. It's fine.
Max, what about yourself?
Oh man,
What?
I got nowhere near the kind of plans that Haley does. Yeah, for the rest
Smart.
of this year, I don't have a ton of racing plans. I may hop in the Cambridge Half Marathon road race. Try
Nice.
and do some fast road miles because I
Is
have
Owen doing that as well
Owen
too?
is doing that. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Sweet.
a
awesome.
few of my other friends from around here are doing it. So I think it could be a really fun one. I just moved to Cambridge, so it should be a fun one. And I have been just running on the roads lately, so kind of
Yeah.
makes sense. And then yeah, I would love to get up to New Hampshire and just try and do some solo fast stuff. I don't know if I'm actually in the fitness to take a swing at any FKTs, but that Liberty Flume one that I mentioned is just a course that I really love, and I had a lot of fun suffering on it the last time I did it, and I'd love to go do that again. So
Do it in the winter. That's when they get the FKTs.
in the deep winter, yeah, I've heard that with
I'm
the
telling
Prezi
you,
Traverse with
you
the like mythical snow conditions where you can just run over all of the
yeah.
rocks. I
But
would love
that's
to
how
take it
people
up.
get them. So seriously, grab some spikes and wait for it to be packed out because some people say it's cheating, but they whatever. I mean, that's how you get the FKT there. So
Awesome. There's strong comments about the cheating on the FKT forums that I've seen.
Yeah, on the
yeah,
presidential traverse
Ruffle some feathers,
specifically.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
touch it. I shouldn't have said it. I don't know. I don't have any of them that I know of, so I don't think I don't know.
Yeah, the Prezi FKT is insane. That's
Yeah,
not anywhere near. I think Jack Genzel has it. That's just such a crazy time. But I do love the Prezi, and I would love to just do a solo like PR attempt effort on that at some point soon. And then yeah, for next year, I think one race that's just been all like on my mind since I found out about it is Manitou's Revenge. Way longer than anything I've done before, but that course looks so cool. It reminds me a lot
Yeah.
of the Prezi Traverse. I think it's sort of like the Prezi of the Catskills, maybe, or Adirondack. I always get them confused, but
Yeah. No, some of it's on like Devil's Path, right?
yes,
I'm
that's
pretty
what I was
sure.
thinking of.
Okay.
That race looks so cool. I think they make you do a 50-mile trail race as a qualifier, so I need to figure out how I'm gonna do that. But the longer distances are something I'm really interested in. So I don't know about next season for the 50, but definitely want to start doing some of the longer stuff. And
Nice.
and yeah, definitely at least a few White Mountain endurance races next year. Definitely Chikora for sure, and then I think we'll see about the rest of them. Hopefully Baldface too.
And one more for the cup.
Yeah.
We'll rope you in.
Yeah, Pat, you got to start sending me races so I can actually have a race calendar.
All right. I'm on it.
I'm a pretty last minute planner. I just did Chikora. I think I got like I don't think it was an Instagram ad. I think but it was like some sort of like ad for Chikora. That's how I found it. And then I was like, there's 3 more of these. May as well just
Yeah.
do them all.
I
'Cause I had
love
so
it.
much fun. So yeah, just send away.
you want
Sweet.
to come jump in Squam next weekend? Do it.
What's the distance on that one?
It's about 12 miles. It's good. I think you would like it. A lot of fun.
Is it technical?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
It's a
I'll
fun
take a
race.
look.
We should also mention, give a shout out to Andrew Drummond in his Run the Whites challenge. I don't know if you guys
Oh
have
yeah.
seen,
Oh
but
man, I wish.
up up Mount Washington, yeah,
Is
there's
it
been
Tuckerman's?
Tuckerman's, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
3.7 ish miles.
Yeah.
Right now the men's time is right around I think an hour and 2 minutes, and then for women an hour and maybe 17 is the current record. But anyone who is on the top 10 in like a month time frame, so it just opened up a couple days ago, goes through October. But if you're top 10, you get a nice gift card to Run the Whites, and
Oh, I didn't see that
it's
part.
super cool. Yeah, the people have like really gotten after it just in the first couple days. I mean, it's been awesome. So I just love that, how you just add a little incentive and have just the local competition, just like literally like the day that he posted it, someone went out and just
That's
absolutely
so
hammered.
awesome.
So yeah, that's open a couple more weeks, I'm pretty sure.
I need some new shoes. Maybe I really should go do that. They're real worn out now.
And then they have like, so there's no F, or maybe there's an FKT for just the summit, but there's definitely a round trip FKT. And obviously you got to make your way back down. So a lot of people are trying to get the time going up and then just obliterate the downhill and go
Oh
for the
my god.
FKT for the round trip, which is cool.
But it's top
Um,
10.
it's top 10, yeah.
Okay, that's
So
cool.
I know Abby is, well, she has maybe the second or third fastest time at the moment. And yeah, a few other people from the cup races, I'm either have said they're going for it or have already gone for it. So yeah, it's a good one. But awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure chatting with you both. I wanted to mention before we close out, I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our finishers of the cup for this inaugural year. So we had, um, pretty sure 20 people complete the cup this year, which is pretty awesome. So I was just going to roll through their names, give them a little shout out. Well, if anyone's listening to this late in the podcast, but we'll start with the woman, and here, Haley with us. Abby Bennett, Lindsay Weigel, Haley Simon, and Shannon Chowquette. Not sure how to pronounce that last name, but congrats to the five of you guys, our inaugural class of 2024. And then, yeah, on the men's side, Max, Peter Bonito, Michael Conley, Owen Glover, Matthew Ridley, Kevin McDonald, Sean Guile, Mike Malinsky, Christopher Sears, Joshua Graham, Bijan Manguri, Max Utter, Jonathan Zoller, and Sam Huntley. So that's our class of 2024.
Nice
Uh,
job.
we invite you to join us in 2025.
All right, wait
But
though. I gotta say something.
yeah, yeah,
Women, look at how many men finished this. We gotta step it up. We need some more ladies
totally.
in here. I like we can carpool, please. If you're listening to this, the women gotta step it up. We need more women in here. So
Agreed. Yeah. Shout out to the top when you finish this year, and hopefully many more next year. I know, you know, hopefully it got on a lot more people's radar. And I know people like, I don't know, like Caitlin, who wasn't able to maybe make the whole cup, but came to two of the races. We hope to see you back next year, Caitlin, to bring some fire and
yes, Caitlin.
give Haley a run for her money in defending the
Oh,
title. But yeah, well, awesome. Yeah, you guys are on social media. Where can people follow you if they want to connect? Or maybe social media is not good. Maybe Strava. Where can people follow your future races and adventures?
Yeah, I'm hypothetically on Instagram. I think it's m_Perezik, and then and not a whole lot over there, and then Strava's probably more fun.
Sweet.
And
Haley,
I'm probs lost. I'm gonna need someone. Or you can follow my dog, Husky Kato.
oh
That's
yeah.
actually my husband who runs the account. We just made it as a joke, but then it blew up and it was like, oh, do you want free treats and stuff? We're like, okay, this is working. But yeah, probs lost. I'm way more responsive than I used to be, but bear with me because I'm really bad with technology. So sorry in advance. Send me erases, please.
Me
Awesome.
races.
Send
Yeah,
us
all
those
right.
races.
Let's blow up both Max and Haley's inbox with races. Watch out for the millions of listeners out there. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in to the latest episode of White Mountain Endurance Podcast, and we will see you on the next one.